Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room,
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. They don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in, folks. Should be a nice and fine Tuesday. So we're going to get going here. Got a couple of things I want to get into, okay? Anger is evil. You know this, but it truly is evil. Explains the ills of the world. And it's your sign to examine yourself, because until you face that, you're not going to get better. You could get knowledge, you could get wealth, but you'll never control this anger. And the world's a mess. They don't realize that there is no love in anger. Okay, you know this. But if you don't, you heard it here. Appreciate you tuning in, American Anchor Baby. You could call in 888-775-3773. It has TMZ ID, the Super Bowl shooting suspects here. Some interesting things there. But I really just want to talk about, well, anger, black vengeance, white fear, racially radicalized ladies at the skim. Yes, possible. We might even get into that. Are the ladies at the skim becoming genetic and race realists? It's actually a really bad development. It's actually a really concerning development. We're going to get into that. The ladies at the skim have read the bell curve. And the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. I think there's something really interesting I want to say about that. If you caught something I said recently about these PDF file catchers, those people that go after the I'm using this PDF file term. I'm traumatized to not use language because I don't want to get censored. Pedophile. You know, these people, they like the children in the wrong way. You may have caught something I said about that recently. Russia. Look, there's so many things to get into on this fine Tuesday. Appreciate you being with me. Everybody who came in from Joel Friday's show, thank you. Right on. Got in a Prancer raid. I disavow Prancer raid. Appreciate that, though. Nice episode. Nice epi over there on Joel Friday. I'm live on rumble.com/American Anchor Baby, live on dlive.tv/Gorgonzola and Twitch. And I think that's all the housekeeping we got to do here. What's up? Everything is fake, Lord Bibby. Carver, nada, Latina. Latine. I feel like we all say that wrong. Vexed. What's up, Vexed? Cameron. Lin Yan Chin, how you doing, sir? Anyways, they're saying they may have ID'd these Super Bowl suspects. You heard about that shooting, right? You know, I didn't even know that much about it. I thought that the media and the news were avoiding, naming any distinguishing characteristics of the shooters. But then I thought they showed it in some video when they were like handcuffed. I may have been wrong about that. I think I mentioned that. That may have been fake news. I'm looking into it though. And it was a huge chaos. Kansas City shooting. It was after or during the Super Bowl event. Cops have charged 2 individuals, juveniles as they've been described, with gun-related offenses. And TMZ, I don't really want to play any of the footage or anything. I don't want to get dinged by them, but also it's all violent and stuff. But they do have a interesting report here. They speculate, I think, in some of their own footage that some of these people that you're seeing here pictured are the suspects in this shooting. They speculate because these people were seen leaving the scene, grabbing, and in the video they show trying to take stuff out of their bag. And then one of them is seen possibly also bloody afterwards. So a little bit of speculation here from TMZ. But, of course, the glaring thing on some people's minds is that they're black, right? There were black shooters. They're trying to hide the whole thing. Others have pointed it out. The disparity or whatever in reporting when it came to Kyle Rittenhouse. You remember Kyle Rittenhouse, 2 juveniles charged in Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade shooting. That's the one that happened. Compared to Kyle Rittenhouse, 17 years old, his face plastered everywhere. So others are making this point and pointing that out. It's somewhat fair, I think. It's somewhat fair. I mean, that white face, that Kyle Rittenhouse white face is just too valuable. Way too valuable. He shot people. He was it was Black Lives Matter. And this white guy with a gun thinking he's going to defend stuff is just out there extrajudiciously killing people. Yeah, we got to put his face everywhere. It was just too valuable. But it's a fair comparison, I think. 𒒏𝒂𝒒𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔. Thugs, they call them. The new N-word. There's so many N-words. I don't mean the other N-word. Thugs, they say, is a dog whistle. Kansas City mayor accuses governor of racial dog whistle for calling Super Bowl parade shooters thugs. I've seen this dog whistle time and again. There's this kind of giant conservative theory on social media now that the reason these mugshots haven't been shown is because the purported defendants are black. Black is capitalized here. And if it were a white defendant, we would have just shown them. That is absolutely preposterous. These are protections to juveniles. This is the Kansas City mayor, who's black. Kansas City mayor Quentin Lucas accusing the Missouri governor Mike Parson of this racial language. You know, if you know anything, Mike Parson, isn't this guy Mike Parson? Is this oh, I was getting him confused with someone else, but I thought he was some liberal Democrat guy. Mike Parson, this guy is saying he's using this racial language. And this is a mayor of, you're supposed to be working together, right? It's a governor, you got your mayors in your cities. You might fight a little bit, but he's claiming racism, which is just a story we hear time and time again. And why? Anger explains it. Blacks are vengeful. They're full of rage. Evidenced not only by the obvious, banal, yet visceral violence of shooting someone, but the violence extends all the way to the home, the crib, even the womb in some cases, in many cases. No better suitor is there than the blacks to portray this breakdown of the family and the horrible effects of it. How to break down anger, judgment between the man and woman, no understanding, no love. Maybe they should have watched Joel's episode. Angry people draw these lines. They make enemies and friends. They make these sides, and they never align with just right things, just honesty, doing the right thing. No, you align with black versus white. This mayor is just doing the right thing for the blacks. I'm sure many blacks say, right on, yeah, you can't be using that racial language like that. Thug? What are you calling us, thugs now? No love. And then the behavior of the culture and everyone towards blacks, fear, capitulation, and personal gain, using them. No love, all anger. Also, here's another one. Why can't the blacks see? No amount of stats. Weren't they clamoring for a new mayor with Lori Lightfoot? Remember that? Chicago? They're like, give us a new mayor. This lady isn't doing anything for us. And they just vote in the same. Why can't they see? Why can't no anger, no love? You can't see. You will never. You can't see beyond emotion and you can't see very far when you're angry. You're quite blind. Is that in the Bible? Anyways, they're now saying National Guard. Okay, they're some of the blacks maybe looks like it. Are now even calling for the National Guard to be brought in to crack down on students running amok at this school. Okay, it's somewhat going viral. It was all over some of the aggregate sites. And it looks like some black committee members of this Massachusetts school, they're saying, bring in the National Guard, and they're showing this video of this crazy brawl. And the schools are like that, especially if they're black. It seems like we see all these videos. There was this white teen who was beat to death recently, but we see all sorts of crazy stuff. It's like jungles, these schools. And I mean that in its like uncivilized sense, throwing your kids out there, and these mothers and parents who just willingly throw their kids in there. Again, just trying to kind of bring up how no stats, no amount of filth. Like you see this you see it like you see it again and again. Mayor race in Chicago, nothing but repenting from the anger will make not all, but most, if I may borrow a phrase, see the game being played on them. And anger keeps you there. And everyone trying to help or criticize or defend, they'll do better to understanding that they're subject to the very same thing, okay? All right, let's move on a little faster here. The churches, it doesn't matter. Even with churches, you got these churches coming out saying, oh, what are the Republicans going to do about guns? When I don't know if we would even be talking about gun control and what can we do to crack down on violence and crime if we just at a snap of a finger got rid of I'm speculating. I could be totally wrong about this, but if there were no black crime, black gun violence or whatever, I don't know if this would be that big of a topic. I could be wrong about that. That's just an opinion, a feeling I get. Oh gosh. I think I want to move on though. Ben Crump here wants to redefine crime, but I think you get my point. I don't really want to harp too much more on this. That should be a little bit of a theme. Is all I'm trying to say for the show today. I think that's the best explanation for everything. It's such a good. It's the theory of everything. It hits every point. It explains it all. The home, the wars, Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Gaza, racism, anti-Semitism, all the isms. Hopefully, maybe I can illustrate that a little bit going forward here. 888-775-3773. That's a little bit what's on my mind. Appreciate that, Vasco, for the super chat there. Right on. No message, but thank you for the support. Just checking up on my chat here. Little Nick at the park shooting hoops with Little Penny. What are you talking about? Moving those wheels. Yeah, I think so. Because I want to tell you about these racially radicalized ladies at the Skim. Speaking of the blacks, right? Race and IQ. This gets brought up. Because everybody they're trying to come up with explanations. They're trying to understand the world. Some are relegated to, okay, it's just racism. Racism explains it. That's the disparity in the crime. That's the disparity in the wealth. That's the disparity between men and women. Or whatever, maybe not racism, but some other type of ism. Some bigotry, misogyny. For some, that's enough. They've relegated themselves to that. That totally explains it. But anyone with a little bit of scrutiny, scrutinizes the situation a little bit, it's not enough of an explanation. Some are arriving to it's race and IQ. These and I think the liberal ladies at the skim may have read some. May have been radicalized by some. They were radicalized by some knowledge. They took in some knowledge. They've been radicalized. Women, if you don't know what I'm talking about, the skim. I got that from the Hake Report, but they are a female, slanted, oriented. Their demographic is women. I don't know. They call themselves the skim. Very feminine outlet. And I came across a little blurb they have on women. A study published yesterday showed women could exercise less than men and reap the same benefits, if not more. Researchers looked at the self-reported exercise habits of more than 412,000 men and women from 1997 to 2019. Women who said they exercised regularly had a 36% lower risk of dying from a heart attack or stroke, while men reported had a 14% lower risk. With the, I guess, same amount of work, they're saying the ladies, they're different. The ladies at the skim are noticing that men and women are different. See, look, the women are apparently benefiting from all this exercise at a higher rate, but they're doing the same exercise. It's almost like their bodies are different. The females at the skim are starting to notice the differences in biology. Biological realities? What's going on here? Are the ladies at the skim becoming genetic realists? Biology realists? What's next? What's up, Mr. Pink? What's next, ladies? You're going to get all race realism is next? Imagine the ladies at the skim, liberal ladies at the skim, getting all based for a moment here on certain IQ realities or whatever. They all read the bell curve or something, and it goes straight to their heads. Wait a second, there's a biological difference between men and women. It's almost as if nature and even God himself has handicapped us. This is empirical proof, evidence that we need to uplift women. Even our genetics, even the genetics are against women. I'm being silly. I see your calls coming in. Thank you. 888-775-3773. I'm being silly. I'm being facetious because what's stopping them from making that conclusion? Think about it. A lot of people say this is the answer. And you've heard my show before. I'm not saying there isn't a difference between the races and IQ. I just don't know how important that all is. As evidenced by the high IQ, so-called high IQ people, I don't know, let's say whites, allowing their countries to fall apart like this. But that's a point I've made before. About these women, though, what's stopping them from that, from seeing racial differences in IQ? That's why we need to handicap. That's why we need to hamstring the whites. They are ahead in genetics. They have higher IQ. We have to order society and take from the whites and give to others. There's the proof. Maybe this is a silly point, but it's anger. Anger, the nature of evil. It taints everything. Systems, concepts, machinations of man, capitalism, democracy, the Constitution. It can all be subverted. History kind of is a retelling of that, kind of over and over again, if you think about it. In some way, imagine the ladies at the skim with this is too much power. It still goes straight to their head. All that knowledge. They would use it against people. They would become the oppressors. And they would be happy to do it because they have anger. Anyways, appreciate you tuning in. I got Frank out of California. Sir, you're on the air.
Yeah, how you doing? How you doing? I'd say what you're saying is all right. It's all about anger and ego. Because ego is a thing that makes everyone think they're better than everyone else.
Gotcha, yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
All
and
people with anger.
like,
yeah, you think you're better.
Yeah, ego is just the most evil thing, and it makes everyone think they're better than the other person. And they say it's alt-right. They say that we're right-wing, but right-wing just means less of an ego.
Wait, say that again?
Right-wing means you're less egoless.
And why makes you say that?
Well, it just is like, okay, if you have big ego, then you are very destructive. Like to people, you're like, oh, like you have to do this, you have to do that. But when you have less of an ego, when you get rid of ego, then you do realize that you have to be a bigger man.
And the right and to be truly right wing, you're saying that it requires that it's towards less ego, not more.
Yes, it's like left and right, good and evil.
It does seem like that, doesn't it? It sure feels
like that. It
really
is that simple.
Now, when we're looking at it in a general sense, when we look at the individuals in who call themselves right wing, left wing, I guess it becomes confusing. But I just know that life is like that. I know this. I know life is it's a spiritual battle, good versus evil. So it wouldn't be that for that to be playing out in I don't think that's that crazy to say. So what makes you arrive to this? What makes you think? Like, what made you arrive to this? The right wing the truly right wing position is a less less ego. Go ahead.
Well, the people that I've ran into that have a big ego, they're usually left wing, and they usually think that I don't owe you this. Like, oh, like you've done this for me, but I don't have to do this for you. But when you have a small ego or non-ego, I don't think you could ever get rid of the ego. The ego is always going to be there. But when the ego's there, it's mostly like, oh, like, yeah, like, no, man, you haven't done enough.
That makes sense, man. You know, when I examine what we call the left, liberals, they are commonly like that. Think about the mama spirit that wants to protect
the
/ control.
Evil spirit, the evil mama spirit, exactly.
It wants to protect and control. That's all ego. To think that you could even do that. That you even have that ability.
You to be like them. If you're not like them, then they hate that.
Interesting point. You know what? That makes more and more sense what you're saying, because it reminds me of something Jesse Lee Peterson said a while ago about how even if you call yourself conservative Republican, if you have anger, you're a liberal. You're not. You're really a liberal.
When you have anger.
Yes. Oh, you're so right, man. Yeah, you're just a liberal. What would distinguish you from a liberal if you had anger?
Well, me, like, the thing about liberal is they're trying to liberate themselves from themselves. To have liberalism and ego means that you're angry. And anger, like, that comes from ego. You know why anger comes from ego? Because it's like, oh, like you make me angry because you're not agreeing with me. So you're hurting my ego.
Fascinating, man. Yeah. Didn't Eve want liberty? Liberty.
Do what want liberty?
Didn't Eve want liberty?
Yo, of course,
the first liberal.
She hit the apple. She wanted to make everyone have free rights. Rights are not even Christian.
Or maybe Satan was the first liberal. You said rights are not Christian?
Rights aren't Christian. Rights are evil. Like rights don't even exist. Rights are like the imagination.
Explain what you mean.
So if you have rights, it's like, oh, I have a right to do this. Like, oh, well, you say you want to do this to me? Well, I have a right to go against that. But all it is ego, because God already made the rules.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what that makes sense?
The rules.
When you put it like that, that makes sense. Right on, Frank. Yeah. How'd you hear about my show? Sounds like this is your first time. It feels like this is your first time calling. Is that true?
No, I've called Hake before. I've called Hake. I think I've called Hake before. I might have called him here before, but I want to keep the wheels rolling. But I just want to say that the ego is evil, and we can't kill the ego. It's impossible to kill the ego. But We have
I want to ask you about that. How do you know
minimalize the
that?
ego. Because everyone always is going to have an ego as humans.
How do you know
Like,
that?
you're going to be like, oh, you told me how to do this. Oh, well, you think you're better than me? Tell me how to do that.
How do you know that, though?
How do I know what exactly? How we're not going to have an ego?
How the ego will never die. You said the ego will never die. You will always have one.
Yeah, the ego will never die because we're humans. And honestly, like, we always, like, even if we do kill the ego completely, which I don't believe in killing the ego, but the ego is always going to be there, and it's always going to be there to be like, oh, hey, man.
Wait, but hold on. You said even...
do.
Well, hold on. Let's work this out. You said even if you do kill it completely, then you said it will still be there. So you actually don't mean killing it completely. You don't believe you can kill it completely.
Exactly. I don't believe in killing the ego completely.
And the reason you know this is because you said we're humans. Help me understand that. What about being human means that it means you'll never get rid of the ego?
Well, like, I don't believe that we kill the ego because we're always human and we're always going to believe that we're better than God. Which is false, but I mean, that's just how humans are. That's just what I believe.
I'm following what you're saying. I don't know if that's enough of I don't know if that's a good enough reason for me to conclude. Then that means I'll never. I at least leave it as.
Does the ego still exist? Do you believe in ego? Like,
of course, I have one.
Always be. I know, but still, I have an ego.
But I can also I see how the ego. They're really well. First of all, the fact that I could even see that I even have one. What that is, right? It's a spirit. It's an evil spirit. It's the nature of Satan. But I've also discovered that this evil nature does not like stillness. It does not like certain things, and it kills it. Okay, I'll leave it general there. So what I'm trying to tell you is that I'm not telling you yes. I'll tell you if I discover it. I'll let you know. How about that? I'll let you know if I ever kill the ego. I'll let you know. But I'm not. Everything you've told me so far is not enough for me to conclude. That means I'll never kill it. Why not just leave it as I don't know?
No, that's what I'm saying. We'll never kill the ego. It's impossible.
But I'm saying so far you haven't really proved that you know that for a fact.
But you think that it's possible to kill the ego?
I'm just saying that I'm leaving the possibility open, yeah. Because it doesn't even the Bible say stuff about that? About being perfect, about being born again, about not sinning. You know, it says those born again don't sin. I think it clearly says that. I could be wrong. Someone could correct me.
It might say that, but we have to be
I feel like all of that.
God, like,
say again.
I don't know how to do it. Let's just say I don't know how to do it yet.
Then just why not just say that? It sounded like you had concluded there's the ego will never die. The ego, you had already decided that the ego does not die, will never die.
Yeah, but is that what we're saying? Yeah, the ego will never die. I mean, the ego.
That's not what I'm saying.
There's always an ego.
I'm just saying it sounds like there might be. It sounds like there may be a possibility that it can die completely, and there seems to be indications that even in the Bible.
There's indications that the ego can die?
Yes, it sounds like it in the Bible.
How do you kill the ego then?
I don't know if you kill it, if you're asking me. I don't know if it's anything that you do. It's something that God does. That's why I think that's what I say I think because I'll let you know once I get there, right? If I do. But the point is what I'm trying to say is it sounds like that's what Jesus is saying when he's saying you got to be born again.
Yeah, but I'm not Jesus, though. My ego's not dead. Is your ego dead?
No.
That's what I'm saying.
But I believe Jesus when he said that you could be born again. That's what I'm trying to say.
So being born again kills the ego?
I think that's what that is, man. Yes, sincerely.
I could believe that, but maybe
because
I'm not
think about
again.
it. The ego is the nature of Satan, right? So it's all those anxieties, those fears. It's
the fears and the thoughts.
And all the things that the thoughts and the things that you do that you wish you didn't, right? The thing that controls you. Isn't that what you're going to God to be saved of in the first place?
Yeah, thoughts and egos and thoughts are anxieties.
So, I'm just saying, if God is God, I'm not gonna just conclude in my head that God can't do what God does. I'm gonna leave that a possibility
God
open.
doesn't do what He does. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong, but I just believe that every man has a big ego and it's very hard to kill. Do you know what I'm saying?
Hake says in my chat, he says, "Deny yourself." It's in the Bible.
Deny yourself. Yep. No, I believe that, and I watch you guys all the time, and it's just the ego is very hard to kill. The ego is a very it's like a monster. It's like it keeps building all the time. Even when you thought you put it down, it's going to keep growing because you hear this from this guy and this from that guy, and like, oh, I think I'm better than that guy. So the ego is
How old are you, Frank?
Battle. I'm 29.
Right on, Frank. And do you listen to Jesse? And what do you think about the silent prayer and stillness? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I listen to Jesse all the time. I haven't adopted the silent prayer at all yet.
That's so interesting. You should try it, man. Look, give it a shot before you start making conclusions about what the ego is and what it'll never do and what it'll always be.
I always watch your stuff, and I'm never against you. But you were atheist before, so you're a newborn Christian, right?
I was what before?
You an atheist.
Yeah. I called myself that.
But you're a newborn Christian, though.
What's that? What's a newborn Christian?
I'd say
is that like a term that already exists, or?
Is your ego already dead?
No, I don't think so. No, it doesn't seem like it's dead.
But you said earlier that you have to, in order to know Christ. Well, you didn't say this exactly. I'm not going to pull words out of your mouth. That's what I won't do. But you said that in order to be closer to God, that you have to kill the ego. Is your ego dead?
I believe that. No, it's not.
Is your ego dead?
It's not.
Yeah, exactly. Because
exactly what?
No. Like you're good, man. But like I'm also my ego's not dead yet.
Same here, man. It's no judgment, but I'm trying to understand what point are you making? Because that doesn't make it not true. Just because my ego's not dead and I'm still subject to it doesn't make it any less true that it must die.
But it must die, should it not?
Right, that's what I'm saying. You said exactly. It sounded like you had concluded something, but just because my ego's not dead doesn't make ego not evil.
Yeah, but so it's okay for you to be for me to have an ego, right?
Say that again.
It's okay for me to have an ego.
Sure, it's okay with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it shouldn't be you shouldn't trip about it. It's not. It's evil. The ego is pure evil. Let's not call it okay. It's evil. Evil is evil, and we don't need to call it anything else. But so that's not okay.
Ego's always evil, though. That's all I gotta say. Ego's always evil.
Can you say that again? I missed it.
Ego's always evil.
Yeah, I think so, man. I can't. I don't.
I want to keep the
nature
rolling,
of Satan. I sincerely believe that. I can't see it any other way.
Yeah, I believe that completely. But we'll talk more about this later because I need to dwell on this a little bit. But
right on, sir.
Hey. Man, I always love you, man. I always love the American Angry. I love Hake. I love Jessley Pearson. I love Joel Friday. All you guys are awesome, man.
I appreciate that, Frank. Call me again, man.
All right, bye-bye.
Right on. Ego is evil. Ego is evil. How can you call yourself a man if you call yourself a baby? Little anchor baby. 888-775-3773. If you want to jump on the line there. White Lion NYC, thank you for that. With a coffee. You can buy me a coffee. buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. Says, writes, 𝒔𝒊𝒂𝒎 plan. What you think, Nick? I forget what that is. 𝒔𝒊𝒂𝒎 plan. Let's do a little bit of Googling. Far-right anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. White Lion NYC, you got me. You got me, White Lion. What's 𝒔𝒊𝒂𝒎 plan? Sometimes called the 𝒔𝒊𝒂𝒎 conspiracy, is a debunked far-right anti-Semitic white genocide conspiracy theory. The theory claims that Austrian-Japanese politician Richard von Coudenhove-Kalergi, creator of the Pan-European Union, concocted a plot to mix white Europeans with other races via immigration. I don't know, White Line NYC. I feel like I may have read this same Wikipedia article once before. I know nothing about that. All I know is that today, that's clearly happening. Well, by that, I mean, let me be clear. Today, our so-called politicians, leaders, people are charged with defending America and all that, are willing to sell it out by way of immigration. These people are having more babies than the native population. There's a replacement going on, and I think it's both. There's different levels of planned and incompetence going on here, straight up, and that's happening today. We could use our eyes to see that. We could just see that if you're paying attention. Appreciate the support, though, there, White Line NYC. Thank you for that. So it comes true, but it was a conspiracy. That's what I was trying to say, man. It's like, I don't need to go into the details of who these people were, who's 𝒂𝒐𝒊𝒂𝒍�. I can see what's going on right now. Debunked, but it's happening. That's crazy. I guess maybe some people, when it comes to these topics, you want to be very careful. So even though it's happening in some way, to say that the �𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔 plan is real, well, that's just conspiracy. Besides the fact that that it's not politically expedient for some to talk about white genocide. You know what else isn't politically expedient for my YouTube career? Talking about these drag queens. Drag queen. Okay. I want to talk about the drag. Look, I see your calls coming in. I'll get to them. 888-775-3773. But I don't want to just talk about these drag queens. Look at these drag queens. Listen to me here. I think you'll find this somewhat interesting. The Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. You've heard this name before. This just like off the deep end nasty group. Imagine calling yourself Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. That has to be one of the most obscene names I've ever heard. I know they're not vulgar words exactly, but that is, I think, the most vulgar thing I've ever heard. Perpetual Indulgence? I don't know, like weekend orgies is a better, can I say that when the sun is up? Is a better name than Perpetual Indulgence. This is just obscene, beyond obscene. Drag queen arrested. Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence drag queen arrested over child porn allegations in Wisconsin is the article from Post Millennial. Okay? Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence drag queen arrested over child porn. And why is this a surprise? I mean, look at these people. On Friday, a drag queen who dresses like a nun with the Brew City Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence was arrested in connection with child pornography and sexual exploitation of a child. While formal charges have not yet been filed, officials with the sheriff's office have recommended charges of 4 counts of possession of said child pornography. So that's what's going on. A drag queen, libs of TikTok, broke it. And here's this individual, Adam Westbrook, anti-Catholic drag queen, Adam Westbrook, they're calling him. You don't say, Corn-Fed Rado says in my chat. Wait, you don't say, huh? Well, who would have thunk? Who would have ever guessed in a million years? They're basically like nuns. Look at them. And they're sticking it to anyone who is a judgmental bigot. They just want to promote love is love. I almost don't want to scroll down this. It should almost be censored. Look at this. But why are we surprised? Look, I'm bringing this up not just to say, look at these drag queens. What the heck? We need to have more protests at these school city councils or whatever. I wanted to bring this up because think about this for a second. This shouldn't be a surprise. Think about calling yourself gay, trans, lesbian. You're a person who calls yourself that. So you are sex? What is this? That's what this is. Their parades, their celebrations, their motivations, what they want to express, what they openly say they love and they are, that this is love. What it is their sex, what they do. And any criticism and cap and natural limits to this, I don't know what you call it. It's just been torn completely off out of society. No natural criticism, and it's just been completely torn off. The roof is torn off. You could just go as high as you want to go with this indulgence. Are you surprised that the people who are perpetually into indulgence are perpetually getting more into that indulgence? Is that any surprise? And where's the wisdom? Where's the wisdom from the older indulgers? Because you're out there. Anyone a little bit older knows that this indulgence doesn't last, okay? You end up finding out, wow, I actually can't control myself. I actually don't have control over myself. And you end up coping in different ways. You call yourselves different things. You call yourself addict. You call yourself, or you deny it, right? Oh, it's just love. It's just love. I'm just doing what I do because this is who I am. But anyone a little older, I think somewhere knows, I can't control myself. Where's the wisdom from the older indulgers? They've fallen into the same thing they don't know how to overcome. Immoral society. We got people today wanting to throw the pedos into the wood chipper. Death penalty. And they're crazy about it. And I'm normally for the death penalty. It makes sense for me. But that was for maybe when men kind of handled things. That would make more sense. Because you would avoid some of the I'm not saying it won't be emotional, but you could kind of mitigate that. It won't be so emotional. It'll be about society and about preventing future problems. That's what the death penalty should be, right? But it's this almost when I'm seeing some of this online stuff on the PDF files, it's almost sick. And I'm being a little bit extra, okay? I'm putting the conservatives, the like general conservatives, together with the supporters of MAPS. You remember MAPS? Minor attracted persons or whatever. It's not fair to maybe put them in the same category, but it's all the same thing. Debauchery. Tinder. You know where Tinder came from? It came from a gay dating app, Grindr. That whole culture, the whole dating app culture, Tinder, dating culture, modern dating culture in general, it's modern prostitution, and it's kind of gay influenced. I mean, honestly, all this out of control sex culture is gay. If you really think about it, you notice some of these people who go out of control with this corn stuff, they get worse and worse, and they end up being into things they never thought they would be. It's all debauchery. And you could be like, oh, okay, well, that's just this pedo stuff. But how do you think we got here? I'm just trying to point that out. It's obvious the pedophile stuff is evil. That's obvious. You don't need me to tell you that. But this might be easier to miss, you know? Why is anyone surprised? Yeah, Tinder? Yeah. Grindr was think about that. Where do you think Tinder came from? Tinder was pre-Grindr, I think. Okay, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. I swear I read a whole thing about this. Tinder was launched 2012. Grindr was launched 2009. And they really are similar if you think about it. It's all sex. It's sex. It's sex. Anyways. What are you guys saying in the chat? Anyways. Nick fact checking. Appreciate that, Carver. With the super chat says, a wood chipper society is a polite society. I mean, there's something I like about the toughness. Something I like about that. I remember Joelle recently. What was it? It was that woman who was facing jail time for her son committing that mass shooting. As much as I had my own thoughts about it, I appreciated that toughness that Sean and Joel were approaching the situation on. I get it a little bit. Wood chippers. I appreciate the super chat there, Carver. 888-775-3773. I see your calls coming in. I got Jaime out of Minnesota. Thank you for your call. Is it Jaime? Is it Jamie?
How's it going, Nick?
Did I get your name wrong?
No, you got it right, Jaime.
Hey, right on. Appreciate your call.
Yeah, I was listening in on that conversation about the ego, and the way that I think about the ego is it's a spirit that controls people. And when we first come to the realization that we have this evil spirit controlling us, it starts to weaken. And that's why observing our ego ways, like getting on the Tinder, in finding women to get with. That's an ego thing. I was on Tinder before.
Dang.
So I know a little bit about that. And that's an interesting viewpoint of it. I don't see anything wrong with the way that you mentioned it. But anyways, so seeing it weakens the ego. And men don't have, they say, nice. Men are egotistical, and that's not true. Men are men. They're responsible. They have a responsibility, and they just do it.
Right. The truth is the opposite, actually. Real manhood is right, the opposite of that. Yeah, going against the ego.
Right. And so the way to kill the ego, you're not killing something that is you. It's a spirit that's being killed so that God's spirit can come in. And it happens quickly, sometimes slowly, but it always manifests if we work for it, which is doing things like the silent prayer, apologizing to your parents for screwing you up and being angry about it. Those things kill the ego. And so sometimes it tries to come back, but if you observe it and see it again, it goes away. And then eventually it doesn't even come. And the ego that I had is gone.
Right on. I appreciate that, Jaime.
That.
Al Frank is listening. I think you're right. It makes sense to me. You really can't do anything about it. That's so interesting.
So if you look at it as something that's controlling you, like a spirit, instead of a characteristic of a person, it's a much easier pill to swallow.
That makes sense. I hope Frank's listening, because that's a nice way of putting it, I think. Seeing it like that for me is how it makes sense.
Yeah, and that's the way that I see it. I'm in my mid-30s now, and I used to be a younger guy, which I think that guy was much younger, and I didn't know 2 cents about. I didn't even think about this kind of stuff. So good on him for thinking about it, though.
Right on. I appreciate that.
That's it.
Nice. Well, appreciate your call, Jaime. Call me again.
Okay, bye.
Moving the wheels. Yeah. I like to see it like I don't know, like if you just showed the right attitude to the boss, he'd give you everything. If you see you're possessed, God, the boss of everything, just showed you can't unpossess yourself, but if you just showed that you meant it to God, he'd do it. What I'm trying to say is, like, for example, praying every day. Imagine if you were the coach of a team, you'd never put in a player who didn't want to practice every day. And just showing that good attitude, right? I don't know. Just rambling a little bit. 888-775-3773. Where's the love, I guess, is what I'm wondering. We got truckers. They want to protest. You hear about this? And they want to take it straight to the Democratic cities. They're going to shut them down. They're not taking it no more. They're defending Trump. They're defending the country. And they're going to come down hard on Democrat-run cities. We're having our own American trucker protest brewing, our own domestic, like the Canadians. Our very own, an American trucker protest. Will this be the one to end it all? It could shut New York City down. Female trucker joining boycott to protest Trump verdict, says consumers will pay the price when they stop delivering. Truckers who support Donald Trump claim their proposed New York City delivery boycott over his $355 million fraud trial verdict could paralyze the city. If New York loses just 10% of the trucks going there, their prices are going to skyrocket on everything. From milk to eggs, any goods that the consumer needs. It's not yet clear how widespread the support for the proposed boycott is. The truckers are claiming they are taking action after the former president was ordered to pay a $355 million fine. So they got this big boycott brewing, apparently. And they're going to save America. They're going to do it. I say that sarcastically a little bit. I don't mean to be so glib. I get that people want to do something. They want to go out there. They want to help. They want to make noise, bring attention, and because their voices really, in many cases, Americans aren't being heard by their own politicians. And in many cases, even by the politicians they elect, their own side, their own representatives. F around and find out. Truckers warned loads to New York City will be rejected starting Monday. And it's, they're reporting on it. I'm seeing it on all the news aggregates. I don't know how real it is, how much steam will pick up, if this will be a real boycott. I saw, who was that guy? One of the sharks, or was it one of the dragons? Either a shark or a dragon. I don't know. Kevin O'Leary, that guy on one of those shows. I saw him coming out saying, hey, we're done with New York. Who knows? Who knows? But I'm like scrolling through the news. I'm scrolling through Twitter. And I'm seeing the truckers. I'm seeing the people supporting the truckers. And they're saying, F around and find out, right? These people are about to find out. See this trucker right here? I'm a trucker. And I stand with the boycott. Time to show the corrupt we run this country, not them. Truckers for Trump, hashtag truckers. Right on, sir. We got a patriot making it happen. He's out there. It's snowy out there. But I'm scrolling and I'm seeing more. I'm seeing now this guy, Real Trucker Jake. What this country needs is a good old-fashioned trucker boycott of Democrat-run cities. The left needs to be reminded of who really runs this country. Hashtag MAGA, hashtag Trump 2024, truckers for Trump. Okay. Wait, hold on. I think I get it. I'm starting to lose the plot here a little bit. This guy says, we're going to take it, these Democrat-run cities, we're going to boycott them, we're going to show the left who really runs this country. Well, I thought this was for Trump. Okay, so I get it. Okay, F Joe Biden. Okay, this is more general motivation here. Still salient, I think. Okay, I'm scrolling, I'm seeing more. We've seen this guy now. Liberals laugh at the thought of trucker boycott in New York City. A few years ago, a trucker boycott brought the state of Colorado to its knees. MAGA patriots make this country run. Liberals make our coffee. And he seems to be working out. Seems to be not a fat, but a fit trucker. And I forget what he says in this video. I don't think it's that important. But he's kind of saying the same thing. We're going to take it to these liberals. These liberals better know it's MAGA patriots running the show. And I'm like, wait a second. I'm kind of missing the point here a little bit. So it's these liberals. It's our liberal. You mean my liberal neighbor? We gotta make the groceries more expensive for John up the street? Well, he did vote for Biden, right? Let's get him. Wait, hold on. Truckers are talking about not delivering to New York City for 3 years. This is another post. Just taking you through my live process as I was reacting to this, I guess. Let's see if I think I even want to play this one. Let's see if I can play it. This guy here is saying truckers are talking about not delivering to New York. You thought groceries were expensive now? Just wait. If you live in New York City, you better get out. Let me see if I can get any sound out of this. How do I do that? How do I get the sound here? Voice meter. Okay. Boom. Apologies, folks. This is not the new equipment. This is something else. I don't know what I'm doing here. This is supposed to be working, I think. Darn. I don't know how to make it play, but it's really not that important. He's saying he's not delivering to New York City. He's got some tough music playing in the background, and he's like, we're not going. This is the FO stage of F around and find out. I'm showing you all this because I guess I'm just trying to understand. You remember the trucker protests in Canada? Well, they were saying no more lockdowns. It was a Like, they had a point, I guess, sort of, right? Like, they had a salient point. Man warns people to stock up on food in New York because truck drivers will not be delivering. I'm just wondering, like, wait a second. Who are we making the groceries more expensive for? These liberals, right? These liberals in these cities. I'm trying to understand here because maybe there's something I don't get. Maybe someone can explain it to me because I'm seeing this trucker stuff, this trucker boycott. I'm seeing it a lot. I'm seeing it on the news aggregates and all that. And I'm hearing more about this trucker stuff, way more than this other trucker thing going on, this Taking Our Freedom Back convoy. Have you even heard of that? I'm hearing it's this like truckers who decided to go to the border and defend it physically. And even with that story, like I heard Texas can't really defend the whole physical border. Like they don't have enough people and resources to like physically do that. The whole stretch. If it actually came down to it. Starting wars with your neighbor. The liberals did this. I'm failing to see the logic a little bit, okay? I remember the truckers in Canada, like they had a cause, sorta. Like they were protesting the lockdowns, right? And corruption. But then it was like, oh, but not this Nazi guy and stuff. Honk. Just honk your horn. I don't know. Is the cause getting a little blurry? Losing the plot? What am I missing here? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is good. Someone tell me I'm wrong. 888-775-3773. Oh, we are so back. Oh, so you're pro trucker boycott? He vibing though. They were protesting the forced vax. Well, yeah, exactly. So it had like a point, and then I just don't know. Don't overuse the word salient. You are so right, Lin Yan Chin. I'm an overuser of nice sounding words, so I can sound smart. What a mess. How do you figure flat Earth victory? Anyways, 888-775-3773. I got a couple calls here. Let me get to John, Texas. Appreciate your call, man. You're on the air.
Hey, Nick, that is a mess, man.
Hey, right. Welcome back, John. How you doing?
That is a mess.
Big time.
So I guess like we all get the New York pizza now.
You're saying we all get it now?
We all get the New York pizza. New York, they were holding back their pizza. You know, they didn't want to deliver this. They didn't want to deliver it.
That's why we see inflated pizza prices.
I actually saw like a video of like this New York pizzeria guy got so mad at this customer, and like the customer didn't want to tip him, anyway, he like got this pizza and like just crushed it up, like spat in it, and then just like right in front of him and just like threw it on the plate and just like handed it to him.
Some New York hospitality.
Oh
you want pizza? You want pizza? Here's your pizza. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. That's like
liberals were making it hard for pizza deliveries because they weren't tipping or something.
Oh, gotcha. Now I would tip a food delivery person.
That's just a thing that you guys covered a while back.
Yeah,
There's a New York guy.
Tipping's a mess anyways lately. Feels like they want you to tip for everything, and they just assume like you should tip. It makes me not want to tip anybody.
Well, I heard that you can like go in there and do a custom tip and then do like a negative tip and they'll pay for your food.
No way. That's got to be a bug.
Yeah.
That's got to be a glitch.
Should I try it?
For free pizza? If there's a glitch like that, and I was the owner of that pizza store, I would, out of good faith, I'd fix the problem but give you the pizza for free. And then hopefully go viral.
I guess we're all going to get some free pizza here.
We'll see. Trump free pizza 2024. You heard it here
God
first.
bless Trump.
Right on, John.
Hey, what do you think about Trump's... why did Trump start selling gold shoes? I'm not sure why he did that.
I don't know, but they sold for a lot of money. It was an amazing business. It was an amazing move. Did you like the shoes? I think they have this and I say this
I would
with
buy
love.
them, but I wouldn't
There's this
I
almost
would buy them,
tackiness
but it wouldn't
to the
be like
gold.
a fashion statement. Sorry.
No, it's
say it
fine.
again?
I was saying that the sneakers have them almost. Is it almost like is the word tacky? But I like it because it's like a '90s commercial from an era long gone. I don't know how to describe what it is I'm trying to describe.
We should do some fashion around the sneakers.
A whole line, a whole fashion line.
And the whole new trend.
They'll be called
gold hair.
I'm trying to think of something as catchy as Yeezys.
Gold skin.
Trumpies. You think that's a good name for a shoe?
Just bring back gold.
That's totally his style,
gold
John.
Pants.
We love Trump
gold
for that.
Jumpsuit.
Amazing style and no holding back. We love that. Well, right on, John. I'm gonna move the wheels here unless you have something else to say. I got here something on the in the subject line here that says anime fight scenes. What's that about?
That's that's the ego. That's the ego right there.
What do you mean?
That's what an ego going up against another ego is.
It's an anime fight scene?
Because they're like, I believe in this, and the other guy's like, no, I believe in this, and they're like, hey, let's fight. Let's have a fight. You know, it's like casual, like, hey, let's have a fight. Like samurai, right?
Yeah.
Like they're like, I serve this lord, and they're like, I serve this lord, and whoever wins, they were stronger. They were just stronger. So
a stronger ego. So when you're arguing with someone,
it's just cartoon.
I know, but when you're arguing with someone in your head, you see an anime fight.
No, in my head, I'm just like grasping for control. I'm just like
true,
trying not to get too angry, but I know I got him.
What a mess!
I know I got him angry,
and it gives you life.
Yeah.
The ego life. What a mess.
Yeah. Not a good thing.
Right on, John. I appreciate your call, man.
Man, God bless you, Nick, and let's bring back gold.
Yes.
Not just in the world currency.
Based.
Not
nice.
just the gold standard.
Right, not just the gold standard. Funny stuff. I agree,
all right,
man. Call me again, John.
Take care, Nick.
Right on. Cool. 888-775-3773. How did young people get so into anime? I don't know, Kevin. How? I don't know. It's definitely, it seems like normal. It seems like a fine thing to be into lately. Zoomers, maybe younger. Is it because it feels like all the Zoomers are gamer or gamer adjacent? It feels like that. I could be totally wrong. Maybe it's because they're celebrities or some of these people online. But it's not all the Zoomers, right? I'm trying to work this out here live on air. How did anime become so... I don't know. It was like a nerd thing. It was really like more of a negative. It was a pejorative. I don't know if that's not the word. That's not English. That's not proper English right now. It was seen as a negative thing to be into. And I think that changed. And I think the way it changed, I think I mentioned this a little bit the other day. It's the women. They made it hot. They got the women in the cosplays. Okay. They got the men all hypnotized by the women. Gamergate was happening, okay? The women were trying to take over another men's area. Okay, it was gaming, this whole nerd culture, gaming, anime. It was like a niche. It was definitely, there was a lot of space between that and the females, the women. It's like, no, we're nerds. We don't do that. And then the women got mad. Remember Gamergate? They were saying, you guys are misogynists. You guys are objectifying women in video games. It's all a men's club. Where are the women? Why are you such a misogynist? Caused a huge rift. The simps and the anti-SJWs defected. That's kind of continued on today, but really the simps won. The simps have totally won over the non-simps, and women are dominating this gamer nerd world. Think about it. Look at the Twitch streamers and the celebrities in that world. It's the women. And the men, hypnotized, totally hypnotized, saw that whole world usurped, and they didn't even notice. It happened right under their noses because they were looking at breasts, anime breasts. That's my take. I think that's what happened. The simps shall inherit the earth. I don't know if that's what it said in the Bible, Carver. And they turned away from the based Christian animes like Dragon Ball Z, and now they're watching all this pedo stuff, basically. And the girls like that. Yo, I can't tell you how many. Some of you might know the type of girls that I'm talking, the type of women I'm talking about. These like anime girls. These like they're like more into the anime world, and I can't tell you how many of these women, over the years, recommended animes to me, and they were these like sexual pedo animes. No Game No Life. Shout out No Game No Life. You guys know who I'm talking about. What a mess. But that's my rant. That's my little ramble rant on I don't even remember. Anime? But you're mostly wrong. Whatever, Reese. Explain, huh? Tell me how. 888-775-3773. Thank you for the coffee, White Lion NYC. Appreciate that. Another coffee. You can buy me one at buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. White Line NYC writes, moral decay equals little hats. Runs record industry equals little hats. Runs Hollywood equals little hats. Runs record companies equals little hats. Majority of corn sites, little hats. Runs non-governmental organizations helping border crossers make it to the border. Little hats. Well, thank you for the support and the coffee, White Lion NYC. Interesting. This almost segues right into what I want to say about a couple things here about Russia and maybe even a little bit about the Jews and anger. Because even if that's true, White Line NYC, there's a couple things I want to. We'll work it out here. Thank you for that, though, for the coffee, White Line NYC. Now, I don't know if moral decay equals little hat. I don't know if that's fair. We own that. Runs record industry. I just don't know. Hollywood, isn't that true? Record companies, I don't know. Majority of corn sites? Now that one, that's not. I just don't know. But anyways, watches anime equals little hats. Look, I hope you're still listening, White Line NYC. I think this will segue into something here. Russia. I want to say something about this. And a number of things here, okay? Because there's this guy who died over there in Russia. Our Western media is all up in that. They're like, no way, Putin got this guy killed. And now they're requesting Ukraine money like never before. And they're going to get it. Well, we'll see about that, right? So there's a couple things I want to say about that. 888-775-3773. We'll get into that right after this call, though. I got 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎 out of Utah. What's up? How you doing, man?
What is going on, world famous Anka baby?
Hey, right on.
I was just calling to touch on. Y'all brought it up, man, and it just reminded me of the continuing Trump worship that you guys are guilty of. The
worship,
Jews, man. Yeah, aren't you? You're part of the crew. You're part of the Trump worship crew, aren't you?
I'm on the Trump train. But hey, I don't mind you calling it worship. That's just a funny word that you're using. I'm just messing with you. Go ahead on the shoes.
Don't let Hake or Jesse hear you say that, man. You're all on Trump worship.
Oh, come on.
But anyway, when it comes to those shoes, first off, the shoes are just ugly and hideous and retarded. But I think a lot of people see it as. So he debut them at it was like a sneaker,
like a sneaker con.
Convention.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think a lot of people see this as him trying to cater to his very, very tiny colored audience. And, I mean, if this just doesn't further show what an absolute joke. I mean, at this point, they're pushing the shoes.
The gold shoes is what I'll let you finish.
I mean, that's pretty much all I mean, it was...
gold shoes is what has you saying this? You're dead serious.
Is that not something so comical, so ridiculous? You're just like, okay, I finally see that this man is.
You're saying the gold
joke.
Shoes should be that the gold shoes should be what? Someone seeing that should say, "Wow, that's why this person shouldn't be president." Help me understand that.
Oh, no, it was like
maybe you don't like the shoes. Maybe they're cheesy, but they sure made a lot of money. $9,000. They were retailing for like $400. Pretty good business move, if you ask me.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, we just watched another man make a bunch of money off of retards. So yeah, we should really just commend that. That's brilliant. But you were reading that. Was it a super chat you were reading a minute ago? It was like something tiny hat, something tiny.
Wait, we could get to that. But you're saying this. Why? I'll happily get to that. No problem. We could talk about that at length. But look. The golden shoes is telling you what about him? What is it about the golden shoes that is your I don't know, your the smoking gun? This guy can't be president.
Well, his whole thing about the pandering to blacks has just always been, again, pure comical value. I mean, from the platinum plan, because homies rock platinum chains, you know what I'm saying? To the shoes, and then what else did he do? He did something else trying to cater to them to get all four of them to vote for him that he's got. And again, it's just the pandering. Yeah, that's like Hillary Clinton. Remember Hillary Clinton had that bottle of hot sauce? I mean that sneaker thing in the platinum.
So Trump is so the gold shoes means Trump is like Hillary.
I mean he's ran by the same people, so it doesn't matter.
Dang.
It's the same outcome. But yeah,
you couldn't be more blind about this. How is he run by the same people?
Oh, it's very easy. That guy, he was mentioning that whole list, tiny hats. He forgot one thing. Trump also financed and controlled by the tiny hat crew. So you can add him to that list. Yeah. What are you confused about, Nick? I mean, you.
No, Trump equals America first. That's just obvious.
He equals Israel first, and like
how so? Since when?
And Hake even
since when?
The other day,
show me one piece of evidence that he's Israel first.
Oh, let's see. They named a place after.
That doesn't make you Israel first.
No condemnation for DeSantis signing 2 bills in Israel that ban freedom of speech here.
That doesn't make you That doesn't make you Israel first. That's horrible evidence. You're saying because he didn't. You're saying because he didn't comment on something someone else did. That makes you Israel first. Because you didn't come out and publicly say something about what Ron DeSantis did. That means you were for it. That makes sense to you?
He's literally had speeches where he's like.
No, answer that first. Like then you can tell me about the speeches. Because he didn't comment on what Ron DeSantis did. That makes him pro what Ron DeSantis did.
I mean, if I was president, I would condemn it. I mean,
okay, fine. That's a nice statement that you would condemn it. Back to the original question. Because Ron DeSantis said something and he didn't condemn it, that makes him pro what Ron DeSantis said?
It's not what DeSantis said. It's what he did. His actions were basically treasonous. And,
I agree. But because Trump did not criticize them, that makes him pro those actions?
To sit there and stand idly by and do nothing.
So is that a yes or a no?
Oh, that's a hell yes. And the reason why is because
you know what you didn't criticize? I got in fact a whole list of things I haven't heard you criticize. Can we start? Where shall I start?
Sure.
I have a whole bunch of things I've never heard you criticize. I've never heard you let me see, where do I start? I've never heard you criticize I don't know. I'm being silly. I'm being sarcastic. Obviously, making a point here that you obviously know that's a silly metric because he didn't criticize something. That means he's pro something.
I mean, if I'm with people riding around in a car and they commit a crime, then I get charged as well for like just being around it, being on scene. You know what I'm saying? This happened on his.
In what world is Trump? In what world is Trump involved or in the same car with Ron DeSantis? In what world and in what stretch of the imagination?
That's very easy. Same car. We can use the metaphor there. We can use that they're riding on the same highway, the Republican highway. I don't know if we can say in the same car because Trump's really
no. You used the metaphorical language. Let's bring it out of there. You said in what way? I asked. The question was in what way is he riding in a car with Ron DeSantis? That's your sign to take it out of the metaphor.
I mean, they're both Republicans and Trump has strong ties to Florida.
That's pretty loose and flimsy ties to suddenly say that Trump is pro whatever Ron DeSantis did going over to Israel and stopping the speech of Americans.
Either way, it's still just one thing. He praises the tiny hats and speeches.
That is just one thing. Let's move on. What else? That makes him, remember, you're trying to prove that he's Israel first and not America first.
Yeah, I've never seen him praise the Anglo-American Stock Foundation. I've never seen him do that before, and he's never going to do that because he can't, you know.
That does not make him America first. Doesn't mean he's not America first.
What makes him American first? How about that? I'm sorry, America first.
So can I flip it on you now? Because so far you haven't really proven anything. Can I flip it on you? You were saying that he's part of the same establishment, same stuff, but wasn't he He's the one saying no wars, though.
You know,
he's saying there were no weapons of mass destruction. Remember that?
Oh wow! Oh, he did one say that's not even
pretty significant
at that point.
That one phrase is more proof than anything you've said so far.
That war was how many years ago? Didn't other politicians quote that?
And he's maintained that same mentality even today. He when he talks about NATO today, he only talks about it as an instrument for America, to maintain for America's interests, not all this expansionist stuff. He even says NATO is where countries don't want us there. He's talking about all this expansionism. So he really is not. I mean, I'm just trying to give you some evidence. It doesn't matter if you agree with me, but I think that's a pretty big point against what you're saying.
The equivalent would be like Alex Jones. He has to say some stuff you like so that you buy into it, and then that 15 to 20% of deception, which is the most important part, which is the real meat and potatoes. But I do have a question for you.
Gotcha. So he's just not saying what he really means because there's some percentage of deception here that he has to do, and and you got and help me understand how you figure.
Sure. So class is in session. So let me explain to you how American politics
help us understand how you're in his mind.
Sure. Hey, you're an anchor. Baby, you're not from here, so welcome to the team. Let me break it down for the class. So, America is controlled. Politics is controlled by money. Okay, the elites finance the politicians. The politicians do the work, further running us into the ground. That's how politics works. All right, basically. Now, I brought this up on numerous occasions, and I can only assume that you guys still have not done your homework, which is just simply watching that one video, Trump's donors on BitChute. I think if you watch that video, I think it'll kind of just.
Wait, what about Trump donors BitChute?
If everyone listening checks out Google's Trump's donors BitChute. On BitChute, there's a video that shows who Trump's donors are for the 2016 campaign, and it is like 95% Juice Crew, and from there it's just.
And
I mean, there's some things in life you just can't refute. So that's who finances and that's who controls him. And since I know enough about that group that they're my mortal enemy, I know that nothing good is going to come out of him being the leader of my nation.
This is so amazing. This is why. This is what's so amazing about anger and all that. Even these high IQ, so-called high IQ white people can be so stupefied by anger that they'll see Trump. Who even, by the way, I don't know if you know this, even Mexicans, all these immigrants that you don't like and all that, I don't want them here. Look, I'm not trying to be facetious about that, but look, all these people, they agree that Trump is the whites' last hope. You know, I'm going around here in LA. I'm asking some of the people at the gas station, some of the people at 7-Eleven. I talk to the Mexicans around here, and they all say similar things. Man, Trump is the white people's last hope. And it's like, here you are. I just find this it's almost poetic that you can't even see that because you see, I don't know, you saw some video on BitChute that he has 95% Jewish donors, and it's like, I don't know what that proves to
Nick,
you.
if I was running,
what do we do then?
So if I was running for president, what do we do? That's really easy. It's like I was saying on Hake's show. When you don't have a real solution to something, what do you have to keep doing? You have to keep trying to keep working at it, keep toiling away until you do find a solution. That's how things are invented, innovated, and how progress is made. Now, if I was running this election and you found out that 95% of my donors were of that tribe, you would actually still have faith in me at that point? That would be idiotic as hell.
Well, if I found you had donors, what? Say that again?
Yeah, if I was running in this current election, and you found out that the majority of my donors were, from that tribe, you would actually still have faith that I might actually be
why is that?
President?
No, I don't quite understand why that would be. You're saying Jewish donors? Like, why is that? No, I sincerely don't understand why that's enough for you to just say this guy. Like, you can still see Trump, right? You can still see him and see him operating.
Sure. Yeah.
So, you see what the point I'm trying to make?
Well, I don't have
even if you,
let's say
you were running for president, you of Aaron or whatever, and I see that you have all these donors, but I would still see you running. I would still see you, what you say, what you're about, at least as the best of my ability.
But the donors are who I work for. That's who pays me.
Not always. That's my point. That's my point. Not always. Not always. No, not always. Not always. Really? That's my point. No? And when you see Trump, he's not that kind of guy. Straight up, he's just not that kind of guy, in my opinion. It's just not always like that. Just because of that doesn't mean that. It just doesn't mean that. Not with Trump.
So you yourself have seen examples in life where someone's paid by a particular employer and they're not carrying out what that employer wishes. I mean, with the exception of like McDonald's or something. You've never seen a situation. I'm sorry. You're trying to say that people work for who pays them, right? Another common sense.
Not always. That's what I'm trying to say.
They don't.
No, not necessarily.
In an all-black area, most people are going to do what their employers are paying them to do.
Yeah, right? But that's what I'm trying to tell you. These aren't necessarily his employers. He's not necessarily beholden to them in the way that you think. Trump has proven that. I think he's shown that in his personality, that he's not really beholden to anyone like in that way. And you may disagree, but I think he's shown that. We just simply disagree on that. That's fine. We don't have to nitpick about that. But here's what we can talk about. You're saying look, if you ran for president, look, I guess this is what gets me about the whole thing, is this blindness to the spirit of it all. Because let's say if you were able to point to me, look, this guy's he's getting donations from these Israeli people, and these Israeli people, they don't like America. It's like, and then you can connect it in a salient way, like that makes sense.
The main donor was Sheldon Adelson. Do you know anything about him?
But then you missed the whole, and let's say your motivation is, I want America to be free of whatever, control from whatever. We want to be sovereign, they say. You're so blind to see, to miss that your chance for that is Trump. You just, whether he has Jewish donors, whether he went to some wall, your blindness to the spirit of it, I don't know how else to put it, man. It's just you really can't see that this is actually your best chance for that. This is at least in today's time.
My best chance. So when he was in office last time, immigration didn't stop. All the things that matter, massive Second Amendment infringements on a state level.
And why is
nothing changed? Nothing changed. I remember as soon as
not nothing, but yeah, that's.
2016.
I'll let you finish.
Anyway,
my bad. I'll let you finish. My bad.
2 months after he got, I was in the Navy at the time. 2 months after he got elected, he decided to, give the order to launch those 60 missiles at Syria or whatever, and that was like a whole false flag, like deal, like load of BS. But a moment ago,
wait, say that again about 60 missiles. What?
Yeah, when do you remember when Trump was first elected in 2016? It was like 2 months after he was in office. That's when that ship, that U.S. Navy ship, lobbed a bunch of missiles at Syria. They're trying to say that Assad was like gassing his own people. It was 100% made up crap, false flag, just the usual typical juice crew false flag.
I remember you bringing that up in a previous call. I don't know if I remember someone.
And
nice.
That's the truth. Can I just say one last?
Is that pandering when you talk like that?
Nah.
And should I not trust you because you're pandering to the blacks when you talk like that?
English is my second. My primary language is Dindu, sir. I'm from Baltimore. Okay? But anyway, though, I just want to say one thing. You're talking about white people, like other white people that you see that are like, oh yeah, they have faith in Trump, so why don't you? Yeah, the majority of white people right now are just absolutely retarded. Like white people they're like as dumb as they've ever been. I mean, the average white person is incredibly stupid. The average citizen in the U.S. period is incredibly stupid. But yeah, the average white person is dumb. I mean, the average white person I talk to about politics on the street, they don't know anything.
Gotcha, man.
I'm just keeping it a stat. White people are legit like supporting like their own extinction. Like, yeah, I would say that they are under complete Jedi mind control at the moment. Yeah. But anyway, man, I guess I'll wrap up. I just
no problem, man. Thank you.
The shoe thing. I mean, what a joke, Nicholas? Anyway,
whatever, man. Appreciate your call, Vincy. Call me again.
Peace out.
Right on, sir. Whatever, man. 888-775-3773. Let me see here. Appreciate that coffee. Nice. My close and personal friend, 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓, bought me a coffee, says, I watched the movie Vice for the first time the other night. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend it. Thank you, 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓. Appreciate that. Vice. I have not seen that. Is that, you mean Vice? I mean, I should have seen this. I know this is one of those that I should have seen, right? Or is that different than Miami Vice? Miami Heat. No, Miami Vice. What am I thinking of? Oh, yeah, Miami Vice is different than Vice. The heck do I know? I still got to catch up. Putting that one on the list. Anyways. uh... 888-775-3773. Uh-oh, Nick Frozen. I had something happen with my internet. Or are you talking about something else? Did I buffer? Can anyone let me know if you've seen any buffering? That would be nice to know, actually. Because we may be having some very subtle buffering that we may not even notice. Let me see what chat's saying right now. Buffered briefly. No problem. Thank you. I'm just checking my chat, folks. Appreciate the patience. 888-775-3773. In fact, plenty of calls. Why don't we get to a call? Let's get to Casey. I got Casey out of Washington. You're on the air.
Hi.
Hey, what's up, Casey?
Well, there were a few things, and then I just heard this last conversation. Basically, I was first going to ask you why you refer to yourself as an anchor baby and what you think that means and what you think you're saying by identifying with that.
Well, an anchor baby, why do I call it myself that? Because it's a factual statement.
Mm-hmm.
It's just merely a factual statement, like saying I'm wearing a, I think, tan-colored shirt. And what is an anchor baby? Well, I see it as really any son of a...
Right, what does that mean to you?
I see anchor baby
What
as...
does that mean to other people that are identified or are classified as that?
What does it mean to me or other people? I'll tell you both. Other people see anchor baby as that term they use for people who have foreigners who have children in America, so that the children that they have here give them a better chance at staying and not being deported. I think that's where it comes from. I think they do 100%.
Like, do people really do that?
Yes, they do. You don't think so?
You're sure?
I
don't know. I've never known it. I'm from
no, they
here.
do.
Like,
It's called birthright citizenship. So this is my definition for anchor baby. And I think it's a better one. Or I don't know if it's really that different from the general term for anchor baby. This is how I see it. Any country that has birthright citizenship, meaning you could, if you're just born on that soil, you get a citizenship there. That's an anchor baby. If you're a foreigner that is born you have a kid in a country that has birthright citizenship, your kid is an anchor baby.
So even if you come here, let's say in not great terms,
like illegally,
and then
by not great terms, do you mean illegally?
And then have a child here.
Wait, Casey, do you mean by not great terms? Do you mean illegally?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So yeah, go on. If you came over illegally and had a child here, go on.
Yeah. So does that stick?
Yeah, that's an anchor baby. That's like me. My parents came over illegally. I'm an anchor baby.
No, I'm sure they didn't.
They 100% did. That is a true story.
You asked your parents, you said,
yes.
Did you come over here and we're not allowed, and had me here to have me be a citizen? You asked them that?
No, that isn't, no, I didn't. I may be misunderstanding you. Let me slow down. Let me slow down.
Okay.
The reality, this is a fact. My mother came over, crossed the border to America illegally, and was an illegal alien in this country. Her daughter was in the same position, and that's who my mother is.
But you know that, like, everybody that's come over here is an alien.
Like who?
Like the British.
Really? How so?
Yeah.
What makes you?
Yeah.
What, the British were aliens to America,
people,
but there was no America.
Forever. Yeah, and then and then the British come over, bringing Americans, bringing black citizens.
Black citizens of what?
Kidnapped black
but you said that the British brought over black citizens? Black citizens of what?
Of Africa.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
So everybody
I don't know if you really know what you're talking about.
Nobody's from here.
Casey, I don't know if you really know.
Everybody's an anchor baby.
Right, but then when we examine your statements, you're saying the British, they were foreigners and they came over as anchor babies to what? How could they be an anchor baby to a country that didn't exist? And how could they be an anchor baby if they were born in Britain? They're not anchor babies, they were British people. How can they be an anchor baby? They were already born as a British person.
It did exist. Natives were already lived here.
Yes. There were...
they
were indigenous peoples or whatever they called them. There were many tribes. There were the Hopi. Go on. Sorry, go ahead. You were saying?
Sorry, love. Yeah, I'm just like anybody that comes over here, right? So I'm half Jamaican and half British, right? But I was born here, so I'm American. Anybody that
nice. You're an American anchor baby. Right on. Are you really an American anchor baby though?
I said that I was like, I'm setting myself up for that. Yes.
That's from one American anchor baby to another. It's a pleasure.
I was like, anybody that comes over here, they're foreign. you know?
No, I understand what you're saying, and I've heard this before. I'm playing around a little bit, being a little
I figured
silly.
you were like Tegan Chung.
But listen, I wanted to explain why that's really kind of a silly notion, and you really are repeating. Yeah. You're really repeating this this misunderstanding of history that you, in my opinion, I've heard somewhere.
Oh, am I?
In my opinion, you have, yeah, and it goes like this. Yeah, it goes a little bit like this: that you're sure. That all Americans are immigrants. All Americans are immigrants. But that's just a big lie, because when you go with that, I understand what you're saying. Look, that they weren't here originally. There were others, but look, that's like a reality of all society. If you follow
I think that like God put
if I may
Sorry,
just finish this statement, Casey.
Yeah.
What you're describing is the framework for the undoing of history, okay? Because this bad thing happened, you now have to fix it and give it back, right? But what you got to understand is what you're talking about is all of history. If we used your mentality with the indigenous or native people of this country, then who would we give it to? The Hopi took it from this tribe, and this tribe killed this tribe, and
them.
Well, who though? Who? Can you tell me who? Who? They were all fighting each other and killing each other.
We give it back to the natives. We give it back to other people.
But who? They were all warring each other. They had no. Do you see what I'm saying? What you're describing?
Yeah, and like this other guy that was talking about like white people, like white males, are like getting targeted. I'm like, dude.
I'd like to get to that. You don't think white males are being targeted?
No.
We'll get to that.
No.
But listen, how does it make sense what you're saying? Who can you give it back to when it was all taking? Did you know that there were some? Did you know that there were some? Did you know that there were some indigenous people who welcomed the white people coming over with open arms?
I'm sure they did.
You know,
they didn't know.
You know how many? No, they knew, and they were like, "Hey, you know these other tribes? They're killing us. They're cannibalizing." Hold on, let me tell you before you disagree. But you haven't even heard me out. When they arrived, there were so many tribes. You could look this up. There were tribes who were like, they worked closely with the Europeans who came over.
When I get off.
The reason is because they enjoyed security and a lot of things from the Europeans because they were at war with all these tribes. They were getting cannibalized. They were getting murdered by these more.
Have you ever read Howard Zinn?
What do you think about that before you say Howard Zinn? I do know about Howard Zinn. Did you know that?
Oh, do you? Oh, awesome.
I know a little bit of Howard Zinn. I'd like to get to that. But look, did you know that there were indigenous peoples or whatever that were happy?
I'm sure there were.
And why though? Because they were getting murdered and cannibalized by their own. You're saying these tribes people. They had the land. Well, those owners of the land, guess what they were doing with it? They were killing people, and they were happy to see the Europeans. So your retelling of history is.
I think okay, right? Maybe they were at first, right? Because they didn't know. Right?
No. You're missing the point. They worked with the Europeans for many, many generations, where they showed them the land, how to trap, the whole what's it called?
I haven't heard
Did you learn about the fur trade in school?
Yeah.
You learned about the fur trade in school? You know how long that was? That was not just a couple of years, and then the indigenous figured it out that these Europeans are evil. No, they were doing fur trading for a long, long time. They were working together for a long time.
Evil.
So that's just not true what you're saying.
I know, like how the Reverend, he always says, like, women are evil. Jesse?
Yeah. Is that how you found my show?
No. Yeah.
Right on, Casey. Yeah. Okay, so let's get situated here. What did you want to ask about next?
It was actually a question about myself. I don't know if you can answer that.
Well, why don't we try since we're on the air, huh?
Okay, right.
I appreciate your call, Casey.
Thanks. I appreciate you.
From one anchor baby to another.
I'm not an anchor baby. I was born here. As are you. I
want to ask you something about that. But go on. You wanted to ask me something.
I had something happen like 5 years ago. It was an incident. It was traumatic. and it was bad. But
don't put out too much personal info. If you could keep it general, it'd be best.
I'm not. But no, trust me. Like, I'm not.
Okay.
That is like the sum up. And I just realized I am angry. But I am, like now, since that's happened, and trust me, it was really bad, I don't have a purpose anymore. And then I'm angry with myself. I've forgiven everyone else. I'm angry with myself. That's how I don't know how to get past it.
You said you had a purpose before?
Yeah.
What was it?
I have one child. I have one son. That was my purpose. And everything was great. And then I did real estate. I did lots of things. But after that, now I don't know.
So because you don't, either for whatever reason, are not caring or whatever with the child, you're saying that's why you don't have a purpose?
Oh, no. My son and I are super close.
Nice.
Yeah. No, we talk like literally every day or like every other day.
I'm just trying to understand how someone with a purpose can lose it and be lost.
Right?
How did that happen?
How does that happen?
Well, that was my question. Like, you had a purpose and everything you were living. Why is it gone? Where did it go?
I almost died. It left. I don't know what I'm supposed to do now.
I guess I asked that because it sounds to me like if someone had a purpose, it doesn't sound like it would be something that you lose, that it leaves you, that it.
You would think.
So maybe you're wrong about that being your purpose, whatever it was.
Oh, maybe I. Oh.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, maybe I.
Maybe you're wrong. Maybe you don't quite know what that is, and maybe you don't trip so much about that word.
Would mean that I never had a purpose.
Maybe just kind of smoke on it a bit, and don't smoke on it a bit, and examine what in your life you've called that.
Yeah.
Because it may not be.
Yeah.
Re-examine that, because it may be a source of.
Then what
it could be a source of stress.
I don't know. I just really want to find it.
Well, I can't tell you that. I don't know the answer to that. But I think you'll find that it'll really help if you don't go around calling things your purpose that are not your purpose, or or if you don't know that it is. I think you'll find a lot of positivity in that. I can't tell you what it is. I don't know. I don't even know what I have a suspicion, but I want to know for real, for sure, what my purpose
you
is
already know
before
you're
I
on
say.
A talk show.
That's not my purpose.
You have to know.
That's not my purpose.
You talk to people every day.
That's not my purpose. This happened by accident.
Really cool.
And what do I talk to people about? I talk to people about a bunch of trash, and then somewhere in the middle, sometimes there's beautiful, insightful things that didn't even come from me. But
I love beautiful, insightful.
It's not my purpose,
though. I love that the best.
But it's just what I do. I'm trying to express that to you. It's just what I do. That's not gonna help. That's not gonna bring you. You're not gonna find satisfaction. You're never gonna find it like that. Finding some kind of purpose in the way that you're describing.
How can you find it? Where do you find it?
I can't tell you. I really don't know how. I kind of stopped looking. I think you'll find.
You stopped?
Yeah.
Well, then what do you do then?
My job, and I wake and what's right in front in front of me every day.
Right.
I just do what's right in front of me every day.
Practical thoughts.
Just what's right in front of you.
That's like the Rev says. The Rev says.
You got it.
Have to have practical thoughts, and all thoughts are lies. Right, I get it.
It's funny because at the start of the call, it almost sounded like you had found my channel by accident. But it sounds like you know about Jesse. That's pretty cool, Casey. Can I ask you? I know I called you an anchor baby, and you don't like that, but I call myself an American anchor baby because I do have a sincere love for the country, and in maybe not to anybody else, and that's okay, but to me internally, that's enough American for me, and I'm happy with that, and that makes me an American to me in a sense.
Yeah, I'm American.
I'm happy with that.
Oh, sorry.
That's enough.
I was gonna say as AF, but yeah, I'm American. Yeah.
There you go. So don't worry about people using words like anchor baby.
I never
and let that
I just
let
felt
that
like,
affect
I felt
your.
Like, I was like, why is this guy referring to himself as this?
It's a factual statement.
Like, because it seems like demeaning.
Oh, see, that's what it seems.
Like, you're an
demeaning.
American. You're
That's so
an
funny.
American. I was gonna say.
Did you know it was my idea to
I'm
call
black,
myself
so
that?
I could say the N-word, but I was like, dude, you're American.
Yeah, but I'm also like not like offended by things like silly things. You see what I'm saying? A man, if you will. I'm supposed to be careful with that. But okay, look, I'm just trying to describe that shouldn't matter. And by the way, it was my idea. So no one's insulting me. No one's making fun of me. That was my idea.
I hope nobody put that on you because that's not good.
See, that's what I'm trying to say. Don't get emotional about these things. It's just a factual statement.
SHITTY, but I was gonna be like, that's not good if people put that on you. But you took it. You took it on yourself.
Can I tell you something, Casey?
Mm-hmm.
I have a little birdie told me something.
Bro.
A little birdie told me to tell you that your purpose is to overcome hell. Everything else is just a job.
You're gonna make me cry.
Right on, Casey.
How do I do that? Yeah, right.
Say what?
Great.
How do you do what?
How do I
overcome hell?
Yeah.
Watch yourself. Forgive. You got to forgive. You got anger. Anger is an evil spirit.
I do. I've forgiven everybody. I just don't forgive myself. I guess that's
Oh, yeah, that's
point.
right. You asked me about that. Forgiving yourself. Can you describe that a little bit?
Everything that anybody has hurt me, anything.
But
that's fine.
But can you describe the need to forgive yourself a little bit?
No. I'll cry.
I wanted you to just, I guess I was asking because whenever I think about that for myself, and I think about all the times I've needed to forgive myself, right? And I'm tripping about something.
You?
Yeah, for sure. And the reason I ask you is because whenever I've faced that, I've never really, no, hold on. No, I think the tears are unnecessary because you might be missing it. It's not real. Whenever I felt guilty and felt like I couldn't forgive myself, and I was tripping about a voice in my head telling me that. You said you listened to Jesse, right? What did you ask? I missed what you said. I was speaking.
What was the voice?
A voice in my head, my thoughts, telling me that I'm guilty, telling me that I was this or that.
Oh, shit.
Think about it was anytime I've ever needed to forgive myself or felt like I couldn't forgive myself. It's never come from someone else. It's never come from something real. It's always come from a thought and something inside. And I don't know if you know this, Casey, but that source is evil. You've heard a little bit of Jesse, right?
A little bit.
Have you heard him say all thoughts are lies?
Yeah, I've heard the Rev. I know what he says.
Think about that.
I don't know what he's
Smoke
saying,
on it.
and it's always like women are evil, and I'm like, okay, just relax with that.
You disagree?
It's fine. You know what I mean? Like,
well, you disagree?
I think that people, pardon?
What, you disagree?
I think that people do things, right? And I think that they get lost, right? This world is crazy, right?
It is crazy because your mind is crazy, Casey. So cut the crying out. You don't need to cry. That's not real. No, it's all drama anyways. Oh, I can forgive myself. No, you're just listening to evil thoughts.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that.
Like,
it's all evil thoughts, Casey. So quit that. Cut that out.
I think that he's maybe on the right path. The Rev is on the right path with people do things. But I don't think it's like women are evil and men are evil. I think it's just you just have to find your path with God. Yeah.
What's that mean?
What do you mean?
To find your path with God, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you dig deep and you know what it is? Basically, okay. Either way you look at it, like whether it's psychological or mental or whatever, or spiritual, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just find your balance.
Have you?
Because people that are like atheists are awesome people. They don't have to believe what I believe. They don't have to believe in God. Just be good.
Are you good?
That's it. That's my T-shirt. Just be good.
Is that working out for you?
Well, it's not for me because I'm sad.
So see, maybe don't put it on a T-shirt yet. Just be good. Let's hold off a little bit. Let's do a little bit of examining. Let's do a little bit of wait and seeing, and then maybe we can figure that one out. Man, Casey, it's a pleasure.
But then I'm gonna distribute them. Yeah.
Well, anyway, I don't have much else to say, Casey. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah,
watch those
I love
thoughts.
your
That's
review,
real.
and
Thoughts
I
are
think
thoughts.
You're great.
He's
I've never heard of you or talked to you.
Yeah.
I think you're great.
Thank you, Casey. I appreciate that sincerely. Call me again.
Yeah.
But yeah, thoughts are lies. Jesse's not lying about that. And all that, all that crying and all that is drama, all that guilt.
I don't know because
all
they
the guilt
just come in your head. How can they?
Well, just keep watching. Eventually,
What do you do
might
with
just
that?
see it. I can't tell you what to do, but I'll tell you what not to do. Don't just assume that it's real. Just leave that little bit of space. Maybe this Nick guy is right. Maybe Jesse's right. They're not real. Just leave some space, and then you'll see. Your
name is Mick?
My name is
I didn't
Nick.
know your name.
Nick.
Nick. N-I-C-K.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes. Correct.
All right, Nick.
Call me again,
nice
Casey.
Nice to meet you.
Right on.
Bye.
Right on. Yeah. Don't cry. Don't quit all that drama. Don't be, I'm a horrible person. I'm so horrible. Quit the drama. Enough. We got calls in the last 5 minutes. How are we going to do all these calls? How are we going to do calls? Hopefully we can run through these fast. CSAL, you're on the air.
Hello?
We got CSAL. You want to comment on anchor babies?
Hey, I thought it was, so can you hear me?
I hear you just fine.
Casey, that was such an amazing call. Okay.
Yeah, that was nice.
So really quick. Yes, Casey, I know many women that do exactly that. They wait in Mexico until they're 9 months and then they cross the border because they have visas just to visit. So they cross the border and they come here to our hospital here in the county where I live and they flood it and it's a nightmare. But anyway, so yes, that does happen
Thank
a
you, CSAL.
lot, actually.
Yeah.
A lot.
Right on.
And really quick, the other thing she said about it's so hard to forgive yourself. I've been there. I've been in Casey's situation, and I think we all have.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard because you have your ego because you were like, oh, I'm so good. I'm so smart. I'm so blah, blah, blah. I would never do what that other person is doing. And then when you do it, it's hard for you to eat a slice of humble pie and be like, I'm not better than any other person. I'm just like them. And I have to forgive myself just like I forgive anybody else. Because Casey was like, it's easy for me to forgive other people, but I can't forgive myself. And that's just because your ego is taking a hit.
Damn. Pass the bucket moment. Right on, CSAL. Appreciate that. That's a clear. It should be clear. Right on.
Okay, pues bye.
Super cool. Call me again, CSAL. Rocking these calls as fast as we can. We got Hector out of New Mexico. You're on the air.
Not New Mexico, Nick.
Who keeps writing New Mexico? This is no way the Hector from New Mexico. This is only the Hector from Cali. Right on, sir.
And no. I just quick comment on what Casey was saying. I think she was having one of those white savior complexes where she has to feel offended on behalf of other people, and I don't like that. I don't like that when people do that for the simple fact that I could just like the Indians, just like Mexicans, like we can fend for ourselves. We don't really need anybody.
Interesting point, man. Yeah, that gets missed when you're you get the savior thing gets missed when we should be. You work your stuff out, we'll work our stuff out, and I totally get that, Hector. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Nick.
Amazing. Rocking it fast, and I appreciate that. Call me again, Hector. We're doing this quick. I love it. You guys are on it. You guys are just quick. You guys understand the assignment. I mean, I love it. I appreciate that. Latin A in Cali. You're on the air. We got Latin A going once. Going twice.
Hello.
Oh, you made it. We got Latin A in Cali on the air. Thank you for your call.
Hi. The person who was talking about Trump, he was saying something about like Trump being pro-Israel or something, but in my opinion, Trump was pro every nation. He was pro-peace. He went to China, visited the Chinese president over there. He went to North Korea, visited the president from there. He went to Russia, met with Putin. You know, he was keeping the peace. He was pro every country to be on their own and independent, but, you know, let's stay out of war. I don't really.
It's just a great way of being. I appreciate that in a leader.
Yeah, and I don't see any problem with him being friendly with them at all. Isn't that a good quality?
I agree. I sincerely agree, and I get that they're trying to bring up undue influence from foreigners where it shouldn't be, when it should be America. But I got to come back to the salient point that you're making. It's Trump is just not that. Where you could show me donors, and I think Trump has proven that he's America first.
There's an article I have here from Forbes.com. It says President Donald Trump probably donated his entire $1.6 million salary back to the U.S. government, and here are the details. And it says here that he was the first president since John F. Kennedy to donate his salary. Both John F. Kennedy and Herbert Hoover donated their presidential salaries to charitable causes. Let's go. And according to congressional records, George Washington initially declined his $25,000 salary, but Congress would not allow him to. So
amazing.
He did. Trump's first quarterly 2017 salary donation to the National Park Service was for $78,333. So.
In my opinion, some may disagree. I think it's just another one of those moves showing that he's for the people. Right on, Latin A. I appreciate the Trump train corral, circling the wagons.
One more thing really quick.
One last thing, go ahead.
He was criticized for going to those countries, for going to visit the Chinese president and keeping peace with all of the above that I mentioned earlier. But, you know, he was also accused of, being a communist or something. You know, they said a lot of bad things about him for doing that. But where is the criticism for Gavin Newsom bringing the Chinese president to California, kicking the homeless people out of the street, to clean it up, to make it look nice and neat for the president from China?
Oh, damn, for real.
And then where is the criticism for when Gavin went to China and was groping children, you know, because he fell on top of a child. Yeah, you know, Gavin Newsom was playing basketball with children, and he fell on top of a child. And he should have quickly gotten away from the child, but instead he hugged on the child and patted his booty.
What? Know? Stop. Not today. I'm not joking. That's barely news.
No, but I'm not even.
He fell. I kind of remember this. This is like last year. He I think it was just falling.
Well, he fell, but
I think I remember that video.
He hugged.
It was the worst way of getting up from a fall. I may admit that, but it's don't go along with the media and all that, saying this is just nasty kid diddler stuff. Like, don't go along with that.
But he hugged the kid instead of getting the kid up off of him, and then he patted the little.
Yeah,
boy.
It was a strange way of I'm watching the video now again. I remember this, but it was a strange. It didn't seem strange to him, and I think you could almost understand it. He's like, I tackled this kid. Oh, it looks like I hurt him, but look, let me pat his back. You're fine, kid. Get on up. Let's smile and keep on playing basketball. Like, that's as bad as it was. Let's be real, today.
I wouldn't want him patting my child on their bottom.
It was like the side. It wasn't the butt.
Yes, it was. I wouldn't want him touching my kid like that.
You're going along with this.
I reviewed it many times and I gave it my.
He fell. You're telling me he groped? You're even using the grope word?
Yeah, it was.
Latine,
long of a hug.
I would suggest temper those judgments on the men. I appreciate your call, though, Latine. We're definitely way past time.
Thank you.
Call me again, Latine. That's the show, folks. She did not understand the assignment, said someone in my chat. We're moving on. That's the end of the show. American Anchor Baby coming at you tomorrow. We got more coming at you at noon. Don't miss the Jesse Lee Peterson show. Don't miss the Hake Report, Joel Friday, and of course Anchor Baby at noon Pacific time as we do. Folks, that's it from me. Let me say goodbye. For real. All right, y'all. Bye. See you tomorrow. Oh, Little Nick too. Bye.